Just ahead with you on News 4 Today, bullets fly again in Columbia Heights. For the 7th time, a killer shoots at an innocent victim, this time killing him. We'll have live team coverage. L.A. braces for a verdict in the Rodney King civil rights trial. The jury is expected to begin deliberations this afternoon. And the cherry blossoms are trying to bud out, but Mother Nature won't be kind today. The official Easter weekend forecast coming up.
This is News 4 Today with Jim Handley, Dave Jones Weather, and Jess Atkinson Sports.
Good morning to you and welcome to News 4 Today. I'm Jim Handley. Our top story, he struck again and for the 2nd time has killed an innocent victim. A shotgun blast to the face. For the 7th time in 7 weeks, a drive-by gunman has shot at a pedestrian in the Columbia Heights, Mount Pleasant area of the district. We've been on this story all night long, and now we have extensive team coverage for you, beginning with Jim Nash live at D.C. Police Headquarters. Jim, what's the latest?
The latest, Jim, is that police here at police headquarters say that they have finished interviewing a number of eyewitnesses to that shooting. They will not say what new information they've gained. However, they do say that dozens of calls are coming in from other people who are trying to give police leads. They're chasing those leads down now. This is the 7th shotgun shooting in the Mount Pleasant, Columbia Heights area in the last 6 weeks. Linda Lopez was at the scene of this shooting, and she has the latest details.
In what police are calling a surprising move, the shotgun stalker has once again sought a victim on Holmead Street in Columbia Heights. This time, the suspect killed a young man walking home from the grocery store. The shots rang out about 12:30 this morning.
One big boom, but I thought something had fell or somebody had ran into something. It sounded like a trash can had dropped, so I paid it no mind.
But several others, including Joshua Lopez, witnessed this murder.
I saw the guy walking, then I saw the little blue car. I saw the little blue car pull up, and then he rolled down the window, pulled out his gun, looked like a sawed-off shotgun, and shot him in the head.
The unidentified victim was taken to MedStar, where he was pronounced dead. Today, police are looking for the man in this sketch, described as being dark-complected in his late 20s or early 30s, and distinguished by his thin or angular face. He is suspected in a series of random shotgun shootings that have terrorized Columbia Heights and Mount Pleasant communities. His first attack on this woman whom he shot at but missed. We are not identifying her. This morning's shooting is just a block away from her home.
I feel this unbelievable, I can't even express the word. It's just a connection that could have been me, that was meant to be me, February 23rd.
The shooting here on Holmead and Monroe happened despite heavy police presence in the Columbia Heights area, and the boldness of this gunman has shocked even veteran detectives. This attack is seen as a real insult to police efforts. It comes on the heels of a $10,000 reward offer, and now it's anyone's guess whether this killer is trying to get caught or just taunting police. Linda Lopez, News 4, Washington.
And police have told us that they suspect that this gunman may be living in the Mount Pleasant or Columbia Heights area, or he may know someone in that area so that he can easily slip out, find his victim, shoot that person, and then get himself and his car out of sight quickly before police can chase him down. Jim, back to you.
All right, Jim Nash live at D.C. Police Headquarters. We'll be checking back with you next half hour. Well, as Linda reported, police have been passing out a composite sketch of the suspect. Again, the shooter is described as a man in his late 20s, early 30s here. He has a dark complexion, and his most notable feature is his narrow and angular face. This morning, police have put a lookout for 2 cars that may have been seen near those shootings. One is described as a Toyota Tercel, blue or green in color, with a silver stripe. The car has temporary Virginia tags. The numbers are 594088Y. Police are also looking for another car, a darker blue Toyota with new style Virginia tags. Well, since last week, the last week of February, residents there have been walking the streets in fear. Our team coverage continues now with a look back at when it began. The first shot was fired February 23rd. The target was shot at from a moving car, but not hit.
And I thought I was in the line of fire, so I kind of backpedaled. And I saw the flash from the muzzle, but I didn't hear any impact. I didn't hear anything hit.
Since then, we've seen on average one a week in the Columbia Heights and Mount Pleasant areas, all apparently at random. By the 5th, police were investigating a murder. Elizabeth Hudson shot while walking her dog.
Up on Capitol Hill area, I hear gunshots every night, every other night, and it's just something that I would like to get the heck away from.
That shooting, more than any, fueled fear on the streets.
You could just walk the streets and somebody is going along shooting people for no reason. And I have to stay in the house. I have to. I used to come out, chat with everybody. I just can't do it anymore. I'm scared.
Some businesses report they've seen a 50% drop since the shootings began. Police have urged residents to be careful after dark, walk in pairs. This week, police and the mayor's office passed out thousands of flyers with the suspect's description. But despite increased presence and media attention, the shootings continue. By week's end, police and the DEA put a price on the suspect's capture.
There is someone out there who knows who this individual is. They know where this individual is. They know where the car is located. And we're up in the stakes.
Of the 7 shootings now, 3 took place in Mount Pleasant, 4 in Columbia Heights. We'll, of course, be following this story all morning long for you. We'll go back live to the scene for more reaction, and we'll talk again to a woman who survived the gunman's attack. That's coming up at 9:30. A break this morning in a 2-month-old murder case in the district. Police arrested 5 men overnight and charged them with the murder of a 70-year-old grocer. On February 16th here, Yi Yuk Chan was shot to death during a robbery attempt at the Seven Brothers Deli on 18th and Monroe in Northeast. Police say the men who have been charged with his murder will be arraigned in D.C. Superior Court Monday. In other news making headlines this morning, one person is dead after a tractor-trailer flips over and lands on top of another car. The accident happened here shortly after 3 this morning at I-295 and Benning Road. No word on what caused the crash or the name of the victim, but roads were slippery this morning because of the rain. The crash caused both south and northbound lanes of I-295 at Benning Road to be closed, but at this hour, both lanes are now open. Well, the witnesses are done, the lawyers are almost finished, and soon it'll be up to a jury to decide the facts in the Rodney King case. The fate of the officers accused of violating King's civil rights could be in the jurors' hands by late this afternoon. Reporter Fernell Chapman of our sister station, KNBC, has the latest from L.A.
Tim Wind has maintained the lowest profile of the 4 officers now on trial. In court, his attorney argued in hopes of distancing or separating his client from the other defendants, just as he indicated he would after hearing yesterday's final argument from the prosecution.
His argument just allows me to stand there and wave a piece of paper and tell the jury, and the judge will tell them again, you are not judging a team. This is not a team sport. This is not recreation, and we don't do this by guilt by association.
Most of today's court proceedings focused on Officer Lawrence Powell. He is the key defendant in the King beating and the most vulnerable to a possible conviction. In court, Powell's lawyer, Michael Stone, insisted that the King beating was a controlled and necessary use of force. He told the jurors, quote, "Don't make Larry Powell a throwaway. Don't make Larry Powell a compromise. He deserves to walk away from this nightmare acquitted," unquote. Stone's final argument closely paralleled his plea to the jury in last year's state trial in Simi Valley. But in the current federal trial, he seemed to address the jury with much more passion. He even repeated these words almost verbatim from his state trial argument.
Now, these are not RoboCops, ladies and gentlemen. They hurt, they feel pain, they bleed, and they die, just like everyone else.
Stone insisted the accused officers used only reasonable force, not excessive force, and that the government did not prove that Rodney King's civil rights were violated. So the defense of Powell, Kuhn, and Wind are now complete. All that remains is the final argument from Ted Brasino. Fernell Chapman, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Each officer faces up to 10 years in jail if found guilty. News 4 will have coverage of the verdict from L.A. when it is reached. Earlier, we inadvertently showed the wrong video in that I-295 accident. We're going to get that for you corrected with an update a little bit later on. Easter weekend here in Washington turning out to be a soggy one for the start anyway. For a first look at the day's weather, we turn to Dave Jones up in the Weather Center. The sun is up, but is it out, Dave?
Well, it's out if you go about 30,000 feet up in the air, of course. We have some clouds around Washington, and obviously if you stick your head out the window, you'll see that those clouds are low, and in some places it's still raining. Right now we have a little bit of a break, and we can show you that on radar in just a second. Right now we have east winds at 4 miles an hour. It's still keeping the moisture in over us. The low pressure system, as we take a look at regional satellite picture, is located right over Norfolk, Virginia, and it continues to move to the northeast. So I think we've seen the bulk of our heavy precipitation for today. I think most of that is over. I can show you the regional temperatures around the area. The green numbers indicate how much rain we've gotten overnight from some of our weather watchers here in northwest Washington. We've gotten about 1/10 of an inch of rain, a little bit more than that. But just to the west, Dennis Wingfield out in Sperryville has 8/10 of an inch of rain, and it's still raining out there lightly. I can show you the regional temperatures around the area. 50 degrees. We're in the 50s now. I think we won't get out of the 50s, but Doppler right now shows that all the echoes to the west are moving to the west, actually. That's a bit rare but with the low pressure system over Norfolk, those echoes will continue to move to the west. And I'll be back in just a bit to tell you what's in store for tomorrow. I think it's a lot better picture than what we're seeing right now. Jim.
I like the sound of that, Dave Jones. Thank you for just now waking up with us. It's 9:09, and Jess joins us now off to Augusta, where it's been a little wet down there, a little soggy.
New leader in the Masters, new record in hockey. Pretty interesting that happened last night as well. But we're going to start you with the race for the green jacket. The leader in Augusta is a first-time Masters entrant. Jeff Maggart shot a 5-under par round of 67. This is on number 12. The guy got a birdie. Amazing. You never, ever birdie that thing unless you got something good happening. He had something good happening yesterday. The Pittsburgh Penguins won their 16th straight game, breaking the 11-year-old mark set by the New York Islanders. Mario Lemieux netted 5 goals as the Penguins dropped the Rangers 10-4. That means the Caps are in the playoffs. Basketball, the Bullets shot only 52% in the first half for a 1-point lead. In the second half, they shot only 26%. The Cavaliers cruised by the Bullets 114-95. Elsewhere, Scottie Pippen drilled a 3-pointer with 15 seconds left in the game to cap an unbelievable Bulls rally. Chicago comes from 17 points down in the fourth quarter to beat the Hawks 88-87. Finally, in baseball, Orioles starter Ben McDonald gave up 3 runs and walked 7 in just an inning and a third. Orioles tied an American League record by stranding 15 base runners as the Mariners shut out the Orioles 6-0. That means the O's are 0-3 now. Coming up, Bo Jackson's return. Came back with quite an impressive start.
Strong arm.
Quite an impressive start.
Thanks, Jess. We'll see you then. Coming up next with you on News 4 Today, we're just now getting word that an Indian Airlines plane has been hijacked. The latest on that story coming up. An Easter weekend tragedy. A church goes up in flames overnight. We'll show you these dramatic pictures next. And dozens of abortion protesters spend Easter weekend inside a Florida jail. But first, here's what's happening on this soggy Saturday ahead. News 4 Today coming right back.
America's Paint Store. More choices than any other store. America's Paint Store. Home Depot. For the finest in waterproofing, the choice is Behr. Behr waterproofing not only seals out water, but is specially formulated for 7 different kinds of wood, so you can choose exactly the right product to protect and beautify your wood. Behr waterproofing. It seals out the water while it seals in the color. Home Depot, where low prices are just the beginning.
And here's one going out to all you early risers.
So this is what the new velvet voice of the night eats for breakfast?
This is a whole grain cereal.
With sugar and preservatives.
Oh, that Kellogg's doesn't have
Kellogg's
any.
Nutrigrain is made from pure whole grain.
So?
So it's the only whole grain cereal with no sugar added and no preservatives.
The only one, huh?
Uh-huh. And you know what else?
What?
Song's over. Don't talk with your mouth full.
Kellogg's Nutrigrain, as good as whole grain gets.
In 1886, Baseball Hall of Famer Ty Cobb was born in Banks County, Georgia, and Louis Bammel opened his umbrella shop in Washington. Today, Mel Bammel is hitting home runs by lowering prices on pool and patio furniture. Raise your buying average with incomparable savings on classic Woodard, nostalgic Lloyd Flanders, and Bammel's rare and exotic Jarrah wood collection from Western Australia. Enjoy Grand Slam savings on quality casual furniture at Bammel, where the best is always surprisingly affordable.
Add a piece of chicken, add a piece of fish. As long as you can add a piece to any meal you wish, we can do that. Yeah, we can do
Buy any Long John's meal and add a piece. Fish for 75 cents, chicken for 65, or shrimp for 35.
Fish, shrimp, and chicken, crispy and delish. Mix them up and match them and any dish you wish. Yeah, we can do that. Long John Silver's. Go fish.
Go for fish and chicken, fish and shrimp, or 6 shrimp with fries, each just $1.99.
Major League Baseball's first days in Miami and Denver, and the Wrangler bullfighting Daredevils. They're coming your way Sunday on the Sports Machine.
As we mentioned earlier, an Indian Airlines jetliner has been hijacked. Information is still sketchy at this hour. We do know that that flight was on the way to New Delhi. This, of course, is the second hijacking there in recent weeks. Tragedy strikes an Oakland, California church on Good Friday. Fire roars through the church building overnight. A 6-alarm blaze destroying much of the St. John's Missionary Church here overnight. As you can see in these dramatic pictures, parishioners could only look on as more than 100 firefighters battled the blaze. Cause still under investigation this morning. The church is one of Oakland's oldest. It was built in the early 20s. Dozens of abortion protesters are spending part of this Easter holiday weekend behind bars. Last night, 50 adults and more than 24 children here were arrested and charged with trespassing at the Women's World Medical Center in Fort Pierce, Florida. The demonstrators will appear before a county judge this morning. The juveniles have been placed in the county's custody. Virginia's year-old stalking law has been ruled unconstitutional. A district judge late yesterday made the ruling and also ordered charges against a Richmond man be dropped. Scott Camper had been charged with stalking a Richmond college student, but his attorney argued his actions were not illegal and the state stalking law too broad in its definition of emotional distress. The judge agreed. Prosecutors say they will appeal that ruling. Well, it may be a case of hypnosis gone haywire. A Florida woman here is claiming she has nearly 200 personalities after undergoing hypnosis to stop her from smoking. She says her former therapist is to blame, and now she's suing him. Her new therapist says his patient is serious about the disorder. So far, the therapist accused of bringing on the multiple personalities has no comment. Coming up next with you on News 4 Today, we'll have the latest live on what you'll find out there on these slick roads this morning. And speaking of slick and wet out there, Dave Jones, up to you.
Well, Jim, all we have to do is get through today. We'll have clouds and a lot of overcast skies and some showers, but tomorrow's the payoff. Looks like sunny skies. I'll be back with all the Easter details. Jess?
Well, Dave, the O's like that lady. They're not smoking and they need therapy. Coming up, I'll show you why.
Whatever reasons you had for not getting cable TV, starting now, you just ran out of them. Because cable TV offers installation for just $9.95, plus Showtime, HBO, the Movie Channel, and Cinemax. Get big savings on cable and premium TV. Showtime has spectacular blockbuster movies, Basic Instinct, Hook, exclusive engagements. HBO has huge box office hits, Lethal Weapon 3, Batman Returns, big names and special events. Watch the Movie Channel for non-stop entertainment action, Bugsy, and Cape Fear. Cinemax has sensational movies around the clock, Patriot Games, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. Call now toll-free and get even more. Get cable TV with 24-hour news, sports, kids shows, music videos. You'll have all the reasons for having the time of your life. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV and get installation for only $9.95 plus premium channels at a special price. Call 1-800-CABLE-TV now.
Settle down. Now, about this new guy with the mulching mower.
We must protect the image of our community.
Why can't he get a Toro recycler lawn more like the rest of them? His mulcher's not the same thing. It doesn't work like this Toro recycler. It can leave clumps and tall grass. It's an eyesore.
I've seen this happen over in Oakdale last year. I'm calling my realtor.
It's him.
Toro Recycler Lawnmowers for a clean lawn, even in tall grass.
This year, you'll find your Easter dinner savings at Safeway. Our Hamilton Easy Carve full shank half hams are tender and flavorful, with all of the delicious juicy center slices left in. An excellent value at $1.19 a pound. When it comes to helping you with special occasions, nobody does it better for less than Safeway.
Nobody does it better.
Dear Midas, as a woman, I often feel mechanics don't bother to talk to me.
You wouldn't understand.
But at Midas, when I explained that I did not have a lot of money, your inspection report was explained to me.
This shows you the repair options you can choose from.
Thanks for treating me as a person capable of understanding my car. Jane Robinson.
Dear Midas customers, buy one guaranteed shock or strut and get the second for 50% off. That's the Midas way, the way it should be.
Off to a swimming start. There's hope on the horizon for when it counts. Tomorrow, big day.
Yeah, there's always hope on the horizon. You know, you have a few clouds, some rain around, and I think today is just preparing us for tomorrow's payoff. I think we have a beautiful day on tap, but right now we still have low clouds, some fog still being reported. Weather watcher Jan Shriver down in Reedville is reporting some strong gusty winds from the northwest. That's because the low is just to your south, Jan, right over Norfolk, and it's moving to the northeast. Let me show you what it's like as far as the cherry blossoms go. This could very well look like tomorrow. This certainly isn't today, that's for sure, with the low clouds and some of the rain that we have overhead. Temperatures right now in the low to mid 50s. I think they'll stay that way, for the next several hours. We still have an area of showers and possible thunderstorms to go through as that low rotates over Norfolk. But look at that beautiful sky as we had, I guess, this time last year with the cherry blossoms blooming. I think tomorrow could very well look like this. Let me take you back and show you, first of all, right now, this is Doppler. Here we are in Washington right here, and you'll notice we're in a little bit of a hole as far as the rain and the showers go. There's some heavier rain and thunderstorms now moving into northeastern portions of Maryland and Harford County, where winds are now gusting to 25 miles an hour in some of these storms, so you may hear a little rumble of thunder and see some lightning. And just to our west, west of Washington in portions of Fairfax County, you're starting to see some more rain. This part of the rain is actually moving a little bit to the west as the low starts to rotate right down off of Norfolk, and it's moving to the northeast. Let me take you back the last 24 hours or so, show you what's been going on. Here we are in Washington under the cloudy skies. As we put this in motion, this low now continues to move towards the Norfolk area, and it'll continue to move off. There's some heavier showers and thunder showers located off the coast, but this is what we have to look for, the clearing skies just to the southwest. Here's the radar just continuing to move to the northeast. So my forecast for us for this morning looks like cloudy conditions with some chance of showers and thunderstorms, temperatures in the low 50s. By this afternoon, we'll see cloudy skies with a chance of some thunderstorms again. Some of those showers could be heavy, temperatures in the low 60s. By tonight, I think it'll all be over. Clearing skies, temperatures down near 40 degrees on a northwest wind, and by tomorrow, looks like mostly sunny skies and pleasant, beautiful conditions, temperatures near 70 degrees. Jim.
Thank you, Dave. Some slippery driving if you're heading out for the holiday weekend. Let's get a first check on the roads with Bob Gotkin in the News 4 Traffic Center. Morning, Bob.
Good morning, Jim. Let's take another look now at that earlier accident that had tied up for several hours, 295 north and southbound. It was quite a serious one this morning involving a tractor trailer. D.C. police on the scene there for several hours. It happened around 3 a.m. this morning, and they didn't reopen all the lanes of 295 northbound down at Benning Road until a little after 8 o'clock. So it was, like I say, quite a mess down there this morning involving a tractor trailer and several other vehicles. All right, elsewhere around the area, no major delays on the top half of the Beltway in Montgomery and Prince George's County. No construction scheduled for 270 today. However, on the inner loop of the Capitol Beltway coming into Maryland, approaching the American Legion Bridge, we do have a report of an accident. In Virginia, I-66, wet road conditions between the Beltway and Manassas. Drive with some caution. No major delays on 95. Again, if you're coming down to see the cherry blossoms, why don't you take the Metro and get off of the Smithsonian Station. Jim?
Thank you, Bob. Jess is back, and we're talking O's, the big O, shutout.
No biggie, you know what I mean? Yeah. Slow start, but you never thought that the O's would be 0-3 after their first 3 games. Maybe not therapy, maybe just a good talking to. Maybe. Yeah. Well, you can forget about the Orioles starting fast. Last night, Baltimore starter Ben McDonald gave up 3 runs and walked 7 batters in an inning and a third of work. Ouch. And the Orioles, they tied an American League record by stranding 15 base runners. The Mariners shut out the Orioles 6-0. Let's go to the Kingdome. Top of the second, 1-0 Seattle. The O's have the bases loaded. Mike Devereaux deep in the hole, third baseman. Wally Backman, he got it, man, just picked it up, throws him out, ends everything. Mariners, they were playing some defense. Top of the third, Mariners up 4-0. Omar Vizquel looking to add to the lead. Singles to right, or singles to center. 2-run score. Backman comes in, and Rich Amaral goes in. It's 6-0 Seattle. They say at the Kingdome that, you know, hey, they miss Harold. Well, they didn't miss Harold Reynolds all that much. Williamson gets ready to deliver. Harold Reynolds, the new second baseman, watch this. Nice, easy routine thing. Something boots it, looks around, everybody's safe. The Mariners blank the O's 6-0. Well, Bo Jackson couldn't have dreamed of a better beginning than the one he had yesterday. Hit a tater on his first at bat. The ending, though, couldn't have been much worse for the White Sox. They lose to the Yankees 11-6. Let's go to Comiskey Park in Chicago. Bottom of the sixth, White Sox trail 7-4. Bo Jackson, pinch hitter this time, goes the opposite field. I mean, from the minute he hit that thing, you know it's gone off Neil Heaton. It's 7-5. Think Bo's happy to be back. Teammates say, yeah, it's the whole weight of the world off his shoulders. Top of the eighth, Bobby Thigpen, the delivery. He's looking around trying to get Jim Leyritz. Leyritz, with the bases loaded, says, Mr. Thigpen, I'm taking you downtown. Grand slam to center field. The Yankees were up 11-5. You can look in the dirt because it was all over after that point. Bo in the field now. Bo Jackson, after he pinch hit, he's going to play left field. He's sub. Now, the batting's one thing, but the fielding a little bit shaky. He's kind of doesn't know how far to get in. Hey, he makes the catch, but still the White Sox fall to the Yankees 11-6. Another great beginning took place in Denver. Over 80,000 fans packed Mile High Stadium to watch the Colorado Rockies pick up their very first win. The Rockies down the Expos 11-4. Let's go to Denver. 80,000 fans showed up. It's a new major league record. The players, they're loving this. They're ready for a great beginning. They're dressed to the nines. Everybody's ready for a fast start, right? That's exactly what they got. Bottom of the first inning, the Rockies' first batter is Eric Young. Eric Young takes the fastball deep to left field. It's gone. Home run off Kent Bottenfield. The high altitude says we might see a little more of these this year. Eric Young and the Rockies led 1-0. What a way to start the season at home. You know what I mean? A little enthusiasm. Bottom of the second, more. Now it's 4-0. Alex Cole, the base hit to right field. They're going to try to get Eric Young, who's heading for third base. Field looks a little suspect, but Eric Young, he's going to make it in anyway. A wild throw. Young comes in to score. The Rockies beat the Expos 11-4 was the final there. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to have Masters action. Surprise leaders, still 10 guys that need to finish the first round. They're starting 8:15. They started this morning. We'll have the highlights of yesterday coming up.
A little late. Soggy greens down there, we hear.
Yeah, should be better and faster. That's just what they need at the Masters, faster.
Yeah. Catching up. Thank you, Jess. We'll see you then. Still to come with you on News 4 Today, much more. We'll have the very latest on the Columbia Heights shooting overnight with live team coverage from the scene. And we'll hear from a woman who survived a similar shotgun attack, presumably by the same gunman. Stay with us.
You can store all this at Public Storage and pay just $1 for the first month's rent. You can store all this at Public Storage and still pay just $1 for the first month's rent. You can even store all this at Public Storage and pay just $1 for the first month's rent. Call Public Storage. You store it, you lock it, you keep the key.
Hurry in during Family 4 Days, because for a limited time, you can get great deals on a huge selection of America's favorite family vehicles, starting at just $10,499.
Yeah, Ford is #1. Think on your feet.
Thinking about comfort?
Think on your feet.
Think about Hans Shoes. Hans Shoes has more comfortable shoes on your size than any other store. Like our Rockport collection for men and women. Engineered for comfort, Rockports make you feel like walking.
Think on your feet.
If you think on your feet,
Think on your feet.
you'll shop at Hans Shoes.
In your hands there's nothing to it. Total Crafts helps you do it. For the creative enthusiast. No place is into crafts more than Total Crafts.
This week at Total Crafts, save 50% on our large selection of pre-made floral arrangements. Silk and dried flowers add warmth and color to any room decor. Add a beautiful splash of color to your home and save at Total Crafts.
No place is into crafts more than Total Crafts.
And no place saves you more on picture framing, too.
Major League Baseball's first days in Miami and Denver, and the Wrangler Bullfighting Daredevils. They're coming your way Sunday on the Sports Machine.
Coming up next on News 4 Today, a drive-by gunman apparently goes on his 7th shooting rampage overnight, gunning down a pedestrian. We'll have extensive live team coverage. L.A. and the nation brace for the worst. Jurors today are expected to begin deliberations on the Rodney King civil rights trial. And what kind of weather will we get in time for the Easter Bunny? There he is. It may not be as bad as you think.
This is News 4 Today with Jim Handley, Dave Jones Weather, and Jess Atkinson Sports.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to News 4 Today. I'm Jim Handley. The latest news, traffic, sports coming up, too. But first, the wet start to our Easter weekend weather. Meteorologist Dave Jones is up in the Weather Center, and he's painting the picture for us, but it's not a pretty picture you paint.
Well, at least not pretty for this morning. I think this afternoon we'll continue with some of the clouds, but I think now that the low is actually pretty close to us, right over Norfolk, I think we've escaped now the heavier batch of precipitation, and now we'll be in the showery variety. We still have a northeast wind at 6 miles an hour, which shows that the low is down there by Norfolk and is starting to move up the coast. Temperatures around the area, 54 degrees, 52 up at Baltimore. Bill Wolf reports 49 degrees. He's had about 4/10 of an inch. I'm going to put this radar into motion quickly and show you what headed our way last night. And the bulk of precipitation has now passed to our northeast, and there's still some hanging back in the foothills of the Blue Ridge. I think the showers will continue to stay there, and during the day, some of those showers to the west will move in over Washington. But good news, real good news, coming up for tomorrow. Jim.
When it counts. Dave Jones, thank you. Our top story this morning, a renegade gunman has struck again, succeeding for the 2nd time in killing his target. For the 7th time in as many weeks, the shooter has pointed his gun from a car window and shot at people walking in the Mount Pleasant, Columbia Heights communities. Our crews have been on top of this story all night long. We begin our team coverage this morning with Jim Nash, who's live at D.C. Police Headquarters. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Jim. You know, this case has gotten extremely frustrating for D.C. homicide investigators. 2 of them told me this morning that they have interviewed a number of good eyewitnesses that came down here to police headquarters. Dozens of calls have poured in. The public is trying to help find this gunman as he continues to play cat and mouse with homicide investigators. The latest victim shot dead at 12:30 this morning. A young man as he walked through the neighborhood on Homeade Place in Columbia Heights didn't make it to MedStar Hospital before he died. Linda Lopez has been covering this case for weeks, and she has the latest details.
In what police are calling a surprising move, the shotgun stalker has once again sought a victim on Homeade Street in Columbia Heights. This time, the suspect killed a young man walking home from the grocery store. The shots rang out about 12:30 this morning.
One big boom, but I thought something had fell or somebody had ran into something. It sounded like a trash can had dropped, so I paid it no mind.
But several others, including Joshua Lopez, witnessed this murder.
I saw the guy walking, then I saw the little blue car. I saw the little blue car pull up, and then he rolled down the window, pulled out his gun, looked like a sawed-off shotgun, and shot him in the head.
The unidentified victim was taken to MedStar, where he was pronounced dead. Today, police are looking for the man in this sketch, described as being dark-complected in his late 20s or early 30s, and distinguished by his thin or angular face. He is suspected in a series of random shotgun shootings that have terrorized Columbia Heights and Mount Pleasant communities.